Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, let me rephrase that. Welcome to our YouTube channel. As I say, if you're a new subscriber, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Hey. So today, Lou, the guests won't be able to hear me with you talking like that. Count down. Thank you. Today it's story time. I'll be telling you guys about my 3 different bird stories. Blueberry, please calm down. I can't even hear myself talk. Also you, Lozzie. Exactly. Good girl. Shh. Right. Right. I'll be telling you guys about my 3 bird stories, and how these little ones came to be. Lozzie, what are you doing? Right. Please don't mind the baby in the car seat. We actually just came home from both of our 6-week checkups. Went very well. Very well for me, very well for Milo in terms of his overall health. He's doing very well. He's growing very well. It's just that he got his 6-week immunization, so we will not be sleeping today, depending on how he handles the pain and etc. etc. So, bird story number 1, that being Lwazi, this one right here. Lwazi was born in 2015. He's 6 years old now. And boy, was his birth story traumatic, let me tell you. Hey, guys, if you're not gonna be quiet, please, go play in your room. Okay, because with you guys making a noise in the background, Blue! Batum! Please keep quiet or lower your voices. Okay? You need to go to your room or something, because this ain't it. This ain't it. Anyway, as I was saying, Lwazi was born at 38 weeks pregnant, but I think that was wrong. Lwazi was definitely born at 40 weeks. He was actually slightly overdue. He was supposed to be born at the end of July. Towards the end of July, he was born early August. So according to me and my body, Lwazi was born at over 40 weeks. But according to scans, he was 38 weeks. But I'll explain all of that. The reason why I'm saying that is that at the time I was pregnant with Lwazi, I was unemployed, so I didn't have medical aid, so I was going to the clinic. Now, if you've had if you've been pregnant and you've been going to the clinic, you know that they don't have scans, so that monitor you was old fashioned, so you would only be able to get scans if you went to a private doctor, which is what I did. I went to a private doctor to do 2 scans, one to basically just check on his growth, and if he was fine, then we did another scan to check his gender. Lwazi, no. And the last one was to check on him, because one of my last visits to the clinic, the nurse said that my belly measured too small, and she was worried that Lwazi was way too small and underweight for his gestational age. And when I went to do that scan, the lady said that he was 38 weeks along, but by then I technically was about 40 weeks according to the clinic, and my last menstrual period and so on and so forth. Lwazi's pregnancy was very easy. There's literally no complaints. I didn't have morning sickness. I didn't have nothing. Literally, I had no morning sickness. I had literally, it was just cravings and fun times all the way through. Because when I went into labor, I was actually at a salon doing my hair. No, actually, I wasn't at a salon. I'm lying. I was at my grandmother's house. And I had gone to do my hair with one of the very important people in my life, Ududa, and she was doing my hair. It was the same. You know how when a family member does your hair, it takes 2 to 7 working days, as opposed to being at the salon. Excuse me, guys. Please go to your room. I'll call you again. Or maybe, you know what? Don't go to your room. Let me start the bath for you. Please excuse me, guys. I'll be back in 0.2 seconds. Alright. I'm back. The minions are in the bathtub. Right. So, as I was saying, my labor started while I was doing my hair. So, what happened was, it was Thursday morning. I woke up around 6, it was around the time my husband was going to work. Woke up around 6, went to the toilet, and my mucus plug fell out. Mucus plug fell out, I had no contractions, I had no pains, nothing. So I thought to myself, and I had read that labor for a first time mom is quite slow. So I figured, I won't enough go do my hair. But I told my husband that, listen, hang on, yes, I'm recording a YouTube video. Of course he's gonna run away. Anyway, as I was saying, I told him that, no, listen, my mucus plug fell out, so be on standby at work. You may hear that, I'm having now contractions and yada yada. I get my ass on a taxi, I call Giti to finish off my hair because we were halfway through. There was no way I was not gonna finish off my braids. I go there, do my hair, and then mid doing the hair, it was as if every time she pulled on my hair, I got a contraction. And oh, sorry, I'm breastfeeding Milo, by the way, because he woke up. I actually took him out the car seat because it's actually not safe for an infant to sleep in a car seat, so I had to take him out quickly. Then I called my husband and told him, listen, the contractions are coming in. At that point in time, to be honest, he didn't really need to leave work. I just wanted the comfort of my husband being there. Also, I wanted him to experience as much of it as possible because I knew that the clinic I was giving birth at, which was in Tembisa, wouldn't allow any men in because, it's like a mass birthing place. There's women all over the place giving birth. So for the other ladies or everybody's privacy, they don't let the dads in, right? Okay, cool. I called him, he came, we chilled. What's the problem? Well, I know what the problem is. He got his immunizations, as I mentioned, and he's in a lot of pain. He's a boy. Boys generally buy deaf. I don't play by deaf. Yeah. Hey. Sorry, I didn't mean it. You're a strong boy. Yes, you are. I'm sorry. I know it's painful now. I'll give you medicine just now. Let's kiss his turn or something. Oh, shut up, baby. Right, anyway, so he came along, and then later on in the evening, we decided to go drive to the clinic so that they can check if I've been dilated and whatever. So they checked me. I had only dilated about half a centimeter, so they sent us back home. Went home. Saturday, slow contractions, mucus plug kept falling out as well. I could continue with my life. It's just that when I had a contraction, I'd stand still and let it pass, which they really weren't that bad at that time. Then we went back on the Saturday because, the pains were in regular intervals. I think they were, 1 hour apart. No, I'm lying. 2 hours apart. And we went back, they checked me, I had dilated 1 centimeter, so they sent me back home. Then Saturday evening into Saturday morning, Sunday, sorry, I keep saying Saturday, into Sunday night, the contractions were strong enough to actually wake me up in my sleep regularly, in regular intervals, and that's when they were 1 hour close to each other. And by the time we woke up, they were like about 45 minutes apart from each other. They were quite painful. I would put it along the lines of period pains. Like really bad. If my period pains were that bad at a consistent period of time, because we know how period pains are, I'd hate my periods. I really would. It's right. Then they took me to the clinic with some food, and I sat there. I watched about 3 women come and go after me, give birth, and then just leave. Oh shame, we've got a cranky baby. Maybe I chose the wrong day to film this video, but you know what? You move if I don't do this. Mr. Dube keeps wanting to come in. There's a booby, there's a booby. He's a great boy. Right? Then they kept checking me every 2 to 3 hours because we got there around 8 a.m. They kept checking me every 2 to 3 hours. Okay, alright, alright. Normal booby, you're tired. Let's pop you. I'm trying not to touch his thighs because it's a sensitive spot because that's where he was. Sorry. Sorry. There you go. You need to burp though. Right. And I had dilated about 1.5 centimeters since I got there in the morning. Because it was my 4th day in labor, they decided to induce me. Now, knowing your public health care premises, guys, I'm gonna have to pause you a little bit to kind of sort this little one out. Or maybe I don't need to. There you go, good boy. Right, Right, because it was my 4th day in labor, they decided to induce me, heavy inducing, because the faster I go into labor, the faster I leave. If we have a bed, next person. Excuse me for a few seconds. Motherhood, guys. Right. Well, I got him under control a little bit. Right. So they induced me. Anyway, let me tell you, from the time they induced me, my pains went from 0 to 100 in literally 2 hours. The ladies at the clinic called an ambulance because now that I've been induced, I needed to be at an actual hospital. So they called an ambulance that transported me to Tembisa Hospital. And in the time that they induced me, called the ambulance, and I was in the ambulance, the pain had escalated insanely. Now, being induced makes your labor pains that much more painful. So I didn't experience the type of pain I would have if I went through labor naturally, or let my body do what it was born to do, or do what it knew how to do anyway. And then we got to the hospital. When we got there, I was told I wasn't allowed in with my bags. Now my bags had my food, had the baby's change clothes, my pet, everything. My hospital bag. If you've seen my Instagram videos, you'd have seen what you'd pack in a hospital bag. I wasn't allowed in there, and I had to take off my clothes and put on a dress pajama. So I was only allowed in with my cell phone and my gown and a towel, and yeah, I wasn't allowed in with food and things like that. Anyway, I go in, and the minute you go in, you give them your clinic card, and that has all the details from the past 9 months, and they put me in a waiting room. At that point in time, I'm like, excuse me, a waiting room? I'm in labor. How am I in a waiting room? I was put in a waiting room with other women that were in early labor. And the pains at that point were really bad. They were really bad. And for every contraction, I had to get on all fours. I had to get down on my hands and knees to bear the pain. I was in a screamer. There was a lot of screaming. Obviously, it's a birthing ward, and people handle pain differently. And yeah, guys, I was burning. And the funny thing is, I spent my entire pregnancy drinking beverages with ice. I didn't chew on ice, but every single beverage that I had to drink, apart from coffee and tea and the likes, had to have ice in it. If it didn't have ice in it, I wouldn't drink it. And I was told throughout my pregnancy, I'll get cold in the labor ward. Hey, the lies. I was burning. Yeah, I was burning. At a point, I took off my gown because I couldn't take it. And then while we're in the waiting room, one of the ladies couldn't handle the pain that she was feeling. She vomited on me. I wanted to die. Yay, my God. I vomited and no, not her. She vomited and I had to use the only towel that I was taking for myself to clean myself up after labor to literally wipe off someone else's vomit on me. Yes, I was angry, but I was in so much pain that I didn't have the energy to berate her. And during this course, I had started feeling weak with each contraction. Every contraction, I was slightly getting weaker. Then they put me on a bed. They put me on the Doppler machine that detects the baby's heart and my contractions. And you were strictly told to remain still during this process, or the readings on the Doppler machine would not be accurate. Now, mind you, you are trying to bear the pain of these contractions, and simultaneously you would get shouted at if you would scream or make a noise or something like that. So you are supposed to bear the pain of these contractions. You're supposed to remain still while you're going through this pain and not verbally express your pain you know. So I sat on the Doppler machine. I almost said Doppler effect as much as I could, and at one point it was so bad that I just couldn't sit still anymore, that I rolled over and went on my fours again, on all fours, and that's when my water broke. And at the point where the water broke, I could feel my son moving down the birth canal. Called the nurse and I said to the nurse, the pains are getting so much worse and I can feel the head. And she was like, no, you ain't feel nothing yet. The baby's head isn't coming out. You are just going through hectic pains. This is what birth is. What number child is this? I'm like, it's my first. It's like, yeah, you're inexperienced. And I said to her, no, I can feel the head. Come in, Patrick, what's up? My video is going to take about 30 minutes. Come on in. Yes, man. Anyway, what was I saying? Where was I? Right, and I kept insisting that no, the head is there. I can feel it. And she got annoyed with me, and she decided, let me just check. And when she checked, she could not hide the shock and the fear. Hey, sorry. We're having a big day, aren't we? Yeah, she could not hide the shock and the fear on her face, because now I've practically been ignored this whole time. And now I've actually basically said to her, you didn't do your job correctly and this is actually what's going on. Then she said, I need to move to the active labor ward. And I had to walk there. Now mind you, my baby's head is in my birth canal. I can feel it. I had to kind of bear crawl myself to the active ward, to the active labor ward, and lay there. And when I eventually got there with no help whatsoever, she showed me the position in which I should push when my body tells me to push, and they disappeared. On the other hand, the other invigilating, I'll call them invigilating nurses because they absolutely did fuck all. Literally zero. The other nurses were just laughing at the other women that were screaming through their pain. And at this point in time, it's around 8:30 at night. My contractions are far closer. There's no break in between, because when you have a contraction, you have a contraction for 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes or whatever, and then you'll have a break of however long minutes, depending on how far you are in labor. Then your next contraction comes, so you get a breather in between contractions. But at this point in my labor, I did not get breaks. So it would be contraction, aftershock, because now your body's still trying to recover from the pain it just felt. Then another excruciating contraction, and eventually my body started telling me to push. I tried sitting in that position, and the position she told me, lay back on your back, legs up, push. Let me tell you, that does not work. You cannot actively push your baby out in that position It does absolutely nothing for you. You need to be sitting up, as it were. And I discovered that on my own. I sat up, and when my body was telling me to push during a contraction, I would, and that's when I would feel my son coming out. And in that moment, I was busy calling for nurse, saying, "Nurse, I'm pushing. Dololo nurse." I pushed until the baby crowned, and I felt myself tear as the big ass head came out of my vagina. And when the head came out, I was shaking. My legs were shaking. I didn't think I had the strength to. Then a nurse walked by me, and she did a double take, walked back, looked and saw, "Oh, there's a head." And she casually told the other nurses, "Oh, now I'm going to keep it kind of without any help," as if I hadn't been calling for help this whole time. Then she told me, "Push once more." I pushed, my baby came out. She walked away to get whatever it is that she needed to make sure that my baby was fine. And I stared at my son, and he wasn't moving, he wasn't doing anything, until I grabbed him and put him on my chest, and that's when he started crying. And then they took him away to do the APGAR tests and so on and so forth. Yeah. Useless hotel, listen to me. Useless hospital personnel. And this is baby Milo. You didn't get to meet him the last time. Hey, puppy, I know you're in a bad mood, but say hello. Yeah. Okay. Alright, guys. I'm gonna put this on pause for a little bit. It's bath time. Alright, guys. This is me again. Broad daylight, because as you may have noticed from the last of the clip, I had to postpone the rest of my video recording to the next day because, hey, the 6-week immunization for babies is not easy. So I got very busy with baby Milo. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I had gotten to the part of the birth. Yeah, difficult as it was, I gave birth to my child on my own. And yeah, then after giving birth, obviously because I torn from the head crowning, the nurse pulled out the placenta, went and got whatever needles she needed to get, gave me an injection in my thigh, and then started stitching me with no warning whatsoever what she was doing. All I felt was needles coming in and out of my skin. And if I tightened my legs to kind of brace for the pain, she was giving me the death look, like, "Oh my God, you're annoying. Why are you doing this?" You know what I mean? And when she was done, I was given a pad. I asked for my bag so I could get my toiletries, so I can get the baby stuff, get him dressed, and the whole shebang. And I was told, "Oops, sorry, they locked the stuff in security. I can only get it the next morning." I wanted to die. So now I've got my night dress that I was in bloodied. My gown was bloodied as well from the time the water broke. And I had no clothes for my child. I was really upset at that point in time. And at that time, my battery had died. I couldn't tell my husband what's going on or keep him up to date. Where's the charger? In the bag that they locked up. Anyway, after that was done, I had to walk to a hallway. To walk into a hallway with a bench, sit there and wait for them to finish the APGAR test on the child. And when they were done with him, they gave him to me. They had put a nappy on him. And then we had to walk to then the maternity ward, which was a way away. I'm weak, I'm shaky, I'm tired, I'm sore from the stitches. Because once you've given birth to the child, the pain just disappears as if nothing was happening this whole time to your body. Walked to the ward. When you get then to the ward, they take your details, take the child's details, and then you do not get assigned a bed. Or let me just say, at that point in time, we did not get assigned a bed until you could prove to the nurses that, hey, my child is latching on, he's breastfeeding. If you had not shown them that, look, child is breastfeeding, you did not get a bed. You would sit there on that bench until your child decides, hey, I'm going to breastfeed. Yes, a baby's first instinct is to breastfeed, but thereafter, you cannot force a child to breastfeed if they don't want to. And luckily mine latched on quite quickly. We got a bed. There's this lovely lady who bought me her charger, and then I could let my husband know what's going on. The baby's fine because, like I said, he was not allowed in. I gave birth around 9:30 at night. And yeah, what are you doing? Please put my hot water bottle there. And excuse me. Then I slept. Unfortunately, he was very quiet. He wasn't a problem. They gave you nappies and pads to change through the night. The bathroom situation was disgusting. It literally was just concrete. The stalls were made out of concrete. The floor was out of concrete, no tiling. And there was no lighting. So now I couldn't see how dirty it was. It was just terrible. So I avoided using the bathroom as much as possible. If I did choose to use the bathroom, it was me basically halfway in the air. And then yeah, next morning we had to wait for the doctor, who then immunized the babies, gave us clinic cards, tell us anything to look out for that's a problem, go to the clinic on day 3 to make sure that the baby is fine. And only around 10 in the morning could I leave. Also, you were told you can't leave the ward without your child because they might steal him, and you're also not allowed to leave the ward with the child because then they'll get into trouble if you fall over or something happens to you while you have the baby in your hand. So I had to entrust my child's safety to other strangers who are mothers. I quickly ran down to get my bags, came back up, then was able to change my child, get my stuff, and I was out by 12 p.m. But that was my birthing story with Rosie. Hey guys, yeah, giving birth in a public facility was the worst experience ever. And this is me saying worst experience, especially after having experienced C-section with my second child, which I'll tell you the story of that in my next video. This is just part 1 because Rosie's was quite long and traumatic to me. And yeah, everything after birth was smooth sailing. My child wasn't a problem. He was a thumb sucker, so you'll hear a lot of ladies, older ladies, saying that thumb sucking kids are sweethearts. And he truly was. But that's it. That is my natural birth story. Having experienced that, you would have thought that I would have been traumatized to not have any other children. But trust me, not only does your body forget, but you also forget as the years pass of how bad the pain was, or how uncomfortable you were, or how much pain, or how long it took you to heal, and so forth, until you're now in that situation again. But yeah, that is my birth story. Let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything else you like to know about this particular birthing experience, Lozi. And yeah, you guys see what I do with. I don't understand this energy, Mina. I've gotten used to it to some extent, but I still don't understand it. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me your time. I truly appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, and what, Lozi?
Subscribe.
Thank you. Yay! Please subscribe to our channel. And see you next time.
Bye bye. Blah blah.